everyone. Okay.
So we built a system automates user discovery, generating ads to target early users for early-stage startups based on what people are currently talking about. So the team is myself, Sam, and Chris. So the first question is like, why? Why are we? What are we solving exactly with this problem? There's three factors. Like when you early-stage startup, there's three things you worry about a lot. You worry about who your users are, why they use your product, and how do you find them to begin with. You want to find them for free, for as little as possible, to basically ensure your runway is, I guess, used in an optimal way while you're growing, if that makes sense. So with the first who and why question, you want to create user personas that reflect the kind of users who would likely use your product. So a few sample users like Jane, John, and the Hulk. They all have different titles. For this hypothetical startup, they have different pain points that they would find appealing that this startup is solving. So the next question is when you think of how you're going to find these users, you want to factor in things like the cost you would spend getting those users. So with that, you'd measure, for example, your customer acquisition cost. How much does it cost to actually convert a customer into a lead, whatever that means for your particular startup. You want to measure efficiency. So at what rate are your ads converting people, and how long is that taking? You want the messaging to be aligned to your user personas based on their specific problems, and you understand what they're talking about currently to know who they are. So Solution is an AI agent that automates the process of understanding your users in real time by listening to current conversations they're having regarding the problems you're solving, and intelligently generating ads that target each persona using analytics generated from these campaigns to continually improve your ads. So basically with this, you learn how to message your, what messages work for your product with different user personas, and you find cost-effective ways to reach out to them at scale. So this is a high-level overview of the workflow. So you enter your company's site, we scrape information regarding that site, we look at that scraped data, we identify the problems you're solving, the target audience / personas. So that includes the persona description, the goals, and their pain points. From there, we listen to conversations based on problems being solved. So we're using Twitter X to listen to conversations based on the problems that are being solved. So if you can imagine it like you might be solving 3 problems, right? So for each of those problems, we want to search Twitter to understand what people are discussing regarding those problems, basically. And then we want to group those tweets into themes of similar issues, and then structure those themes under their relevant problems. And then we want to take all that and generate keywords based on the problems being solved, and the individual tweets we find for each persona. And then we extract, or we test a variation, or we use AI to extract a variation of keywords. It would run those keywords through Google Ads API keyword planner to find the keywords that have more search volume, because you want to have keywords that are relevant to your audience, but also words that are searched on a regular basis, a combination of those 2 things. Then after carrying out the test, you pick the keywords that are most appropriate based on what I mentioned, and we generate ad text based on the data we've retrieved. And we generate multiple ads for different user personas. And then we haven't built this part yet, but the idea is that for each of those ads, you want to A/B test different variations of ads. You want to monitor how they're performing, and then based on whatever metric you're looking at, continually optimize those ads to basically improve whatever you're trying to improve in this particular scenario. Your click-through rate, for example. Do you want to talk more about the scraping process?
Yeah,
So half of the tool is scraping websites. The user would have to input their website, for example, that they want to promote, which usually will contain their service. You would build, we built a web scraper that would take the information from, like, for example, if you're like a tech startup, you would have documentation for your API, for example. It would take that information from your API, like just like the introduction or, you know, kind of like what your mission is, and it would then spit out kind of like keywords relating to your service and allow you to kind of create ads based on what you aim to solve and what people are looking for in a solution.
And then once we find those key problems, we want to go straight to the source. So we want to see where everyone is talking, having conversations about their pain points. So some of the sites that we looked at are Reddit, Hacker News, X, and Stack Overflow. Those are all places where our target audiences, our target users have these conversations. So then we wanted to choose what API we were going to use, and given the time restraint for today, we went through, we checked out the endpoints, used Postman, see which would be the most workable, and then also API key registrations that also, some of them was asking for a lot of questions, waiting for a response from them to get the API key, so we just went through, and then X was what we wound up using.
So we ended up coding the entire thing in Python. We used LangChain to create our LLM, which allowed us to create our ads. We used Fast API to get a responsive API that allowed us to quickly scrape any website for their information that they currently have. We used the X API to give us the latest tweets on a particular keywords that we were able to get, and we used the Google Ads API to create our ads that we would later, or the user would later end up running in the future.
So going forward, we are looking at using Nodito to search for relevant discussions from Reddit, Hacker News, Dev Material, and Medium, which is currently working for this particular hackathon. We want to potentially use a